All right, folks, it is time. Our second and final semifinal. We've got the underdogs, the North American Last Hope, Conquest, played out of their minds last night, taking on Mousesports, which again has had a rock-solid tournament run. You know, they didn't do so well in Romania, but they've 2-0'd both their opponents to get here. They 2-0'd Navi, and then they 2-0'd Luminosity as well, and they're sitting on the top. Obviously, Conquest, much tougher run. They start out losing to Virtus Pro 0-2, drop down though in 2-0 Liquid, and then last night 2-1 crazy set of maps against Dignitas to get them into the semifinals.
I mean, you've got to start with Mousesports have almost been unfairly represented this tournament, not through any fault of their own, just because we haven't had them on stream in the 2 games, 2-0.
Exactly.
So they've actually not lost a map yet, guys. They're rolling through. They've beaten the guys who were in the second place at the major, Navi. So there should probably be more hype behind them than we've been able to give them so far. But hey, now they're against a team who's coming in really hot, who's exciting, who've been able to do things we didn't expect. If they can have a really impressive performance here, now they can go into the final and go up against VP, and it won't just be like, oh, and who's playing VP, the team we haven't seen. So I think Mousesports will get their chance now to show us what they can.
I mean, let's be real. This team should be performing way better than it is. If you just look at it on paper, you don't have to be a genius to realize. So obviously, right, again, starting from the left, Nex. Now, Nex is this guy who's like really burst onto the scene since he came into the Mousesports lineup. He was always good, but now he's really good. And if he can find the level of consistency, this is a great one-bullet rifler. There was even talk about him being the new kind of like kid on the block in Europe, but he's also good with a deagle. I mean, just his one-bullet aim is sick. This is a really, really, really good player, but he's had a bit of a plateau after that arrival. That's always the kind of, it's like second album syndrome, you know? You've had that explosive debut, everyone's hyped, they all want to see what your second album's going to be. Is it going to suck or is it going to be killer, you know? And that's the phase he's at in his career right now. Next to him, you've got Nico. He was famously on the bench for ages while they were trying to make Spiddy work and could he fit in the team. Now, and loads of teams wanted Nico. He was loaned out to Gamers 2. He went to the Game of Paradise qualifiers, dropped like 30 bombs for them, was going absolutely ham, absolutely sick. Mousesports were like, yeah, but we ain't selling them. We're never selling them. And you think about the buying power that Gamers 2, obviously then formerly Kingwin, had at that time. They wanted him. Mousesports were saying, no, there's a place for him here. Now he's off the bench in the starting lineup, and he is the real explosive phenom for the team. He does ridiculous things with ridiculous regularity. In the middle, you've got God B, one of the legendary in-game leaders from 1.6. You talk to any of the 1.6 veterans, we've still got playing now, they all say his teams are the ones we never wanted to play against because they just had this tactical level we really had to work super hard to overcome. Then you've got Dennis. Dennis is kind of like almost like the water carrier in the team. Really good player in his own right, but you know can be a little bit inconsistent. But he's got to do all the unpopular things. You know, he's like the guy that basically gets the positions no one else wants to play in the team. So he's kind of like the glue that holds it all together. If he has a good game, you can say that Mousesports are going to perform. And then the final player, Chris J. Absolutely, you know, in the past was derided for not being a big LAN performer. That hasn't been true for such a long period of time now. I almost feel bad bringing it up because this is a guy who he's been turning up regularly. He makes incredible AWP shots all of the time at LAN. He's been one of the more consistent players in the team while they've had this weird mini slump. And also, got to be said, probably is the best scout player in Europe. So as a secondary weapon on those eco rounds, he can tag 2 or 3 players and let his team do the rest. So this is what I mean when I say Mousesports. They're an incredible team on paper. It just hasn't been working out for them. And I'm struggling to explain why that is.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when you look at them on paper, the old Mousesports problem was they relied so heavily on the tactics. They had to have God be out-read the opponent, get some really sick tactical insight as to we're going to hit this site in this particular way. It had to be that, or they were never going to beat a top team. Because, okay, Nex was really sick. Chris J was always variable, though. You can never rely that he'd be like a star player. Sometimes he'd have an off game because it's just his style of play is so volatile in terms of his AWPing. It's so aggressive, so risk-taking. So when he had those games that weren't working out, it wasn't going to be good for them. The thing is, on paper, you bring in Nico. Nico's been playing better than Nex has. He's the star of the team at the moment. So you think, right, if you've got Nico and Nex as stars, game in and game out, now if you add in the games where Chris J is hot, now we're going to have a lot of firepower. Then we add in the tactics. Great, it's all going to be great. Like, on paper, it's looking like you've got a super team here. Problem is, actually, as Nico's become the star, Nex has had some times, especially in the major, where he didn't perform. He didn't play up to that level. Chris J's been good, but then bringing in Nico has meant now they're talking in German as much. Now it's shifting to English. So now they've lost a little bit of the tactical prowess. So they've gotten better in some areas, they've lost a little in others, and the last couple of tournaments have been the process of figuring out how do we like reform a new identity, because it can't be the old Mouse identity with the pure German strats, and it can't just be relying on Nex. We've got to work in Nex and Nico, so they're still figuring it out, but this tournament seems so far like the one where they have figured it out. They haven't lost a map, and so now they're starting to look dangerous. They're starting to build up to where if they could reach the final, maybe they can give VP a good runner for the money.
Yeah, haven't lost a map and had a tough run.
Yeah. Other side of the coin, obviously their opponent will be Conquest. Let's go ahead and take a look at their roster. And again, walk us through this one, Duncan.
Okay, so on the left, we've got Shazam here. Earlier in the year, he was a member of Cloud9, and unfortunately, that was the worst slump of his whole career. He was having terrible games. He was looking like a fool, unfortunately, in big international tournaments, famously derided by people like Steel, by Dazed. Rightfully so. He was making a lot of misplays, and he never fit in that team. Somehow they never found the right niche for him, and his AWPing fell away from him. Now, these last two CEVO lands, this one in Season 7, much improved. He's found a team that's built around him, allows him to play the way he wants to. And at this land, he's been pulling out crazy clutches. So he's been making the correct decisions in those tough spots. So, much improved player. To his right is Nafly. Naf, as they call him. Originally was in Team Liquid, or Denial, formerly in Shazam. Then he got removed from that team. They said, oh, he's the one guy who doesn't fit, and he's not that good on LAN. Then he was in Luminosity when they were the American team. They said again, oh, he doesn't fit. He's good online, but it doesn't translate to offline. I've seen the last few tournaments from the World Championship onwards, when we were in Serbia, we split for Canada, to this tournament now. He's an explosive player. He's kind of a Chris J type player. He picks up the AWP, he's explosive, but you'll never know that he's always going to get the certain kills. So he's more of the X factor for this team, I think. The guy in the middle, Daps, in-game leader, formerly in-game leader of Denial before they got Adrenaline as the full-time caller. He's a guy where individually he's never going to blow you away. I mean, look at his plus-minus, it's minus 57. He's going to have his issues there. But he is a guy where he understands the teammates he's playing with, and he has a sense for what they need in terms of tactics and that sort of thing. Then you go to second from the right here is Stanislaw. He's a guy where, actually yesterday, I made an error. I said he used to be called Rix. That's a different player who played for the same team, Tempo Storm.
Sometimes you've got to throw those Hail Marys in, but...
It was 16 hours into a long day. Yeah. He's a guy, though, where he had his breakout LAN at the last tournament, the last CEVO season, in that Tempo Storm team. He's played pretty decently in this one. Obviously not a star to the capability of Shazam, Nafly. Then you've got the guy who is the underrated guy, I think, in this team, Rush. He's the player where, when he was playing with Roka in that Elevate team, they came to face it. They gave, actually, I think it was Na'Vi, they gave a run for their money. They played in the Na'Vi VP TSM group. They actually didn't do that badly. They didn't obviously went out in last place, but they had maps where they were competitive there. He was one of the reasons why we saw him winning a number of clutches yesterday against Dignitas on Train. He was quite impressive there. So he's been one of the guys who's kind of quietly built a rep for himself, I think. And when you look at this team, ultimately, it still does live and die by Shazam. If he has really good games, they're going to be in with a chance. If he doesn't, if he falters in any way, it's going to be hard against top European competition, I think.
Yeah, and again, I think, a lot of the big, well-traveled teams that have been playing together for a while will kind of dismiss a crowd in the sense of it doesn't hype them up and it doesn't make them nervous if they're losing, right? Virtus Pro is key for saying that. Like, even in Poland, like, we kind of have to shut it out because it has to not matter. No.
I mean, Duncan's not a big proponent of it. I don't think he necessarily believes that the crowd can make too much difference. And indeed, if that was the case, NA teams would have been on top for a long period of time, especially Cloud9. However, what I will say is, in a small, intimate venue, kind of like this, clearly Conquest have been feeding off this crowd. They have had a lot of support, and it certainly can't hurt. And actually, I got the impression that maybe it rattled Dignitas a little bit. I think it flustered them last night.
Yeah, and it definitely, like this, last night, they were the sixth man for Conquest.
No
doubt about it. And I did ask Shazam this morning, because, again, we've had some discussions about, hey, man, I'm sorry you're not the home team and someone's cheering against you. That's sports. But my concern was, when the crowd was so loud, could communication still happen between the teams? Because, again, the people at home hear the crowd through the casters' mics. Totally different mics, built differently. They grab more sound. They're built to be broadcaster mics. So I said to Shazam, I know you were winning, you were excited, and they did hype them up. But when they were cheering and losing their minds, could you guys still hear each other? And again, these guys are wearing in-ear buds, then they're wearing headsets with white noise in them. And they said, absolutely, we could still communicate.
Of course.
So, again, I think, like you said, it did rattle Dignitas. Not that they couldn't communicate, but that it was so loud against them.
Well, I don't think you were expecting that, especially like 1 a.m. You're in a must-win game to stay at the tournament, right? and you know you're playing here against a team that nobody knows anything about. You're not expecting to see a real vociferous, passionate crowd, like really going ham for it. And then and you're the favorites, right?
Here they
like,
are.
And you're sat there. Obviously, it's, you know, I think it got into Dignitas's heads a little bit. I think it shook them. The difference is that going to happen with a team like Mousesports? I don't think so.
They're going to try.
But at the end of the day, exactly, they're going to try, and they're going to be right to try. So you know, if Conquest can feed off that, if it can maybe get inside Mousesports' head, it can give them an edge. But I don't think it's going to be defining by any stretch of the imagination. Conquest, at the end of the day, have got to win this with or without the crowd, right?
Agreed. And that's the video's about to start, so let's pull that up and start talking about it.
Well, the most interesting thing was when Mouse beat Navi, because they beat them on Mirage and Overpass. Yeah. Okay, we know Mouse can play a bit of Overpass, but Mirage isn't really in the wheelhouse. We don't think of that normally. Now, against Conquest, they're going to take Mirage out immediately. They don't want any part of that. Okay, if I'm Mousesports here, I actually might think to myself, right, what maps were going well for them yesterday?
Yep.
What were they having a chance on? I might actually take something like Cobble out. I think that's something where I'd maybe risk, just get rid of it now, don't play it. Because the thing is, for Conquest, maybe the other one to do is Inferno, because they had those 2 games on Inferno.
It's strange, though, because haven't Mousesports been, even though they were good on Train at the Major, they were sort of banning Train, weren't they? And that's strange, because we know Mousesports can play a Train. In fact, when they first came onto the scene and first started being taken seriously as an international team, it was Train where they were beating people.
That's also, though, I think, some of the opponents. So unless they've been proven,
they've done that. So they've removed Train.
I think that's just their own comfort, though. I don't think they're specifically trying to bat away from Conquest.
No, maybe not.
They say they don't want that. Now, here's what's interesting. Inferno obviously has been the best map for Conquest throughout. Yeah. It's been one they wanted there.
Weak for Mousesports
Overpass,
as well.
Good one for Mousesports, I think, here. Cash is the decider is kind of the questionable one. Because that's the one where traditionally it is a Mousesports home map. They love that map. Even the new guy, Nico, likes that map in all the online games they're playing. So I feel like maps 1 and 3 are great for Mousesports. I think Inferno's going to be decent as well. So I think this is a good draw for Mousesports overall. I actually feel like, in terms of the Mirage ban, I'm not actually sure that was the best pick from Conquest, actually. I think if I were them, I would have rather taken out something like Overpass.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think that's where they might slip up.
That was the point I was going to make, but the ban came in just like super quick. Obviously, Conquest had their game plan, but I agree. I think Conquest is going to really struggle on Overpass here. What I will say is, though, Mousesports haven't really convinced me on Inferno. I don't like the way they're kind of when they're trying to push on that through Banana on Terrorists. They really seem to struggle with it. It's been super easy for them to lock it down. They don't seem to have the rhythm and cohesion, and they don't seem to be able to get up there as a pack. They seem really reliant on like someone making a pick, be it a Nex with an AK or a Nico with an AK or Chris J from distance with the up. So I don't know. I actually think Conquest could take Inferno here, but then I think the problem is Mousesports are definitely going to take Overpass, and then Cash, I think we end up with a competitive, slightly win to Mousesports. So I think overall, Mousesports should make it to the final, but I think Conquest are going to come out here hot and take Inferno.
And again, one thing to point out on Cash, of these 2 teams, only one team played it, and Conquest played it last night to beat Dignitas in the final map. So, for what that's worth.
Yeah, and indeed, that is the question, isn't it? For what that's worth. I mean, Mousesports, it's not necessarily an amazing map for them by any stretch of the imagination, but they when you've got players that are just ridiculous raw aimers and you've got a solid AWPer, you're always going to have a chance on Cash. It's just that simple. It's the way the map's designed. It's the way the map works.
I think the best part for the Conquest guys is that they get their map first.
Yeah.
They get Inferno first. Not the strongest map for Mouse in any sense. So they can start off potentially hot. They can start off with a map in the bag and know we're going to 3 minimum. And then also be in a situation where, hey, maybe if we win Inferno, whatever, we're playing with house money on Overpass then. It doesn't matter if we're not that good at it. Whereas if they started Overpass, that's where I'd have been worried. Because then Mouse is in the opposite side.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is a chance for them to win a map here. So I'll say that Conquest can take Inferno. But I think Mousesports will take Overpass. They'll take Cash. They'll go 2-1.
2-1 Mouse.
Exactly the same for me. Like I said, I think Conquest get Inferno. I think this crowd gets even more amped up. But unfortunately, the sad thing about fairy tales is they invariably come to an end, and we all end up back where we started. So Mousesports do it 2-1.
And I used to always say, any given Sunday, any team can win. I stopped that about a year or so ago.
Well,
you started giving me grief. So I'm not going to say anything. I mean,
if you want to be Al Pacino, that's your business, dude.
It's a game of inches.
Great ass.
It's a game of pixels. Telling ya. We have a pro player matchup, if you will. It's going to be Nico versus Shazam. Before you guys break it down, again, when I was talking to Shazam about the communication, all those kind of things, I was like, okay, have you calmed your team down, and can you do it again? And in typical say what he wants Shazam style, and I quote, fuck yeah. So Shazam is feeling confident.
Family show?
Family show. Not a family show.
No, but I mean, look. So
I don't think anything could be a family show when you're showing that on screen.
I mean, look.
That's a strange individual. That's all I'm going to say, folks.
Right. So
special guy.
Nico is, just a real emerging talent. Loads of people have been talking about how good this player actually is, and he just seems to be able to do anything with any gun he wants. His deagle play is phenomenal, some of the best in Europe. So he's going to be this explosive, impactful player. Now, Shazam, that's not really his style. That's not really his game. He's going to be someone that's going to pick up the AWP, going to look to play sort of defensively, but he will take duels. That's what's interesting about him. He will go for that, but he never had that explosive impact in Cloud9 before, and he was always kind of up and down. What's been interesting is at this tournament, he's been clutching rounds more than anyone else for Conquest. He's been the guy that, even in a 1v5, as we saw yesterday with an AWP, he can still make it happen. Now, when you're relying on clutches, eventually the luck runs out, okay? Eventually it can't keep going and going and going and going. But if Shazam can bring today what he had yesterday, then actually he can be a real key player for Conquest. But that's a massive amount of pressure to put on you. When you're literally saying to have any chance of winning a series, you've got to go ham and be able to clutch 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v5s. So, I don't know. I mean, in terms of head-to-head, obviously Nico's the far superior player. That's just real talk.
Just look at the stats. It showed on the ADR. Nico averages over 100 ADR. He averages more than a kill around, essentially, in terms of that much damage done. Obviously, it won't always be a kill, but you're doing that much damage to the opponent's team. Shazam's decent. He's at 76, 77. But bear in mind, he's a primary AWPer. You'd think the AWPer who's hitting is going to be getting more damage.
Exactly.
That just shows the level of play that Nico's at in that sense. He's just playing out of his mind all the time at the moment, no matter whether he gets a kill, whether he doesn't kill a kill. So he's a very dangerous player for someone like Shazam and for Conquest to face. Yeah,
that's the thing. You don't want to be coming up against him. There's nothing worse than when you're an AWPer and you have to go head-to-head with someone like Nico, even on, like, for example, a deagle round, a force buy, because he can just drop you from distance. He just absolutely wrecks you. He can wreck you with the lesser weapons, wreck you with the pistols. And that's true of this guy as well. This guy who absolutely blew me away yesterday. Conquest's record with pistol rounds is something insane. It's like, I think, the 6 they played did 1-5 or something. Now, it's been mainly down to this guy. Made a 1v3 yesterday. I mean, this guy's pistol play has been as good as anything I've seen at this tournament. So
I think they're going to have trouble in that area, though. I think Mousesports is going to be a very good pistol team.
Of course they are, absolutely.
That might be where they don't get the great start every time like they had before.
No, and that's what I mean. So that's another thing. Let's keep that in mind. In terms of Conquest winning the maps, look at how close some of the series have been, how they've gone to OTs and they've won it in overtime, where obviously anything can happen, but they've done that predicated on winning pistol rounds. So you're already technically, like, should have at least 4 rounds in the bank, maybe even 6, and they've mainly done it thanks to this guy. So again, real tall order. It's a bit different, going up against a Nico or a Nex or guys with incredible one-bullet aim precision. He's shown he could match that yesterday, needs to match that today, because those pistol rounds are going to be the difference maker for Conquest, I think.
Yeah, and that's a big question. Again, when you're a pro-level team and you're traveling the world, you get used to having really exciting victories and having to get up the next day and reset.
Yep.
Have these guys reset? Are they coming in super cocky? Hey, we beat us, we can beat anyone? Or have they said, hey, guys, let's even it out? Fresh day, fresh game.
Let's be real. These guys in their careers have never experienced a day like they did yesterday.
Yep.
They don't know what happens on day 2. They don't know, are we supposed to reset? Are we supposed to build back up again? Are we supposed to, like, try and hike each other up and come in at the same temperature? That's the sort of thing where the veteran in-game leaders in the game know how to control a team. That's not something they've had experience in.
And
understandably so.
Yep. And then the next guy we want to talk about a little bit is Dennis. So let's go ahead and bring up those stats.
Well, it's like I said, unfortunately, like, he's a very, very good player and has been since he's been part of this Mousesports lineup. Now, the reality is, though, everyone else has such a clearly defined role. He's in that sort of personal hell of having to almost be the support player in a way, although I'm loath to use that term because that doesn't really describe what he does. He is capable of making frags. He is capable of holding sites. For example, on Dust 2, he's very good with his long holds. He can contribute on the scoreboard. But the sad reality is, when you're in a team where it's like, you don't tell Nico to play passively, right? You don't tell Nex to be a support player and throw a flashbang for someone like Dennis. You don't tell Chris J, not AWP, even though actually Chris J's been really good with rifles lately, which is something else we were going to talk about. And then Gobby's the in-game leader, so he does whatever he wants because, he's the boss, right? So Dennis is just left in the unfortunate situation of being, hey, I'm part of this great team. What do I have to do to be part of it? And it takes a lot of a lack of ego to be able to do that. Famously at the major, he was sick. He had a bout of tonsillitis. Apparently, he's over that now. He's feeling much better, and hopefully it's going to show in terms of his performance, because he was distraught. He actually felt that he cost his team dearly at the major just by being sick. So a horrible position to be in when you're feeling that emotional. But he seems to put those demons to bed out here. He's playing really, really well. So, he's not just an also-ran in this team. He makes a very distinct contribution. And
speaking of the major, the only team they lost maps to at the major was G2.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously
you look
we
at
saw
the run
how
they had,
they played.
Yeah, exactly. They stopped Virtus plow.
Yep.
So mad respect. I mean, I've always said I've got a lot of respect for players that can recognize that maybe you're never going to be on the pedestal. Like, you can look at the other 4 teammates and go, do you know what? I'm going to have to be the 5th man. I'm going to have to be the 5th Beetle here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
MBK does it in Envious. So he's in very good company in that sense.
Well, and it's also the problem that we have in North America. No one wants to be that guy.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to be the star. Everyone wants to be the top fragger. And nowadays, someone has to do those roles.
No one wants
support,
to play in
whatever
goal,
you want.
right?
It's team game, right?
Yeah.
You got a point.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems someone like Dennis has had as well is he's played most of his career with the comfort of having people he's had as teammates for a long time, German lineups for a long time. Now he's actually been thrown into kind of an unusual circumstance. Okay, someone like God B, he's had leading in English before. He's had Alu, he's had those other players in the lineup.
Yep.
People like Nex and Dennis, they've played their careers in these German teams that are the German style of play and the same core teammates around them. So you take out Speedy, yes, and obviously Nico's a massive upgrade to Speedy, but you're taking away comfort there. You're taking away a base of, I know what this guy's going to do, I know how to help him. He knows how to help someone like Nex. Now Nex's support structure is taken away as well. Now Dennis is basically his only support structure. God B wasn't playing with them until this year. So you can see how it's actually put a lot of pressure on Dennis's shoulders unknowingly in terms of the position he's in now, because he's very much outside of his comfort zone in this team. So I feel like that's one of the reasons he struggled a bit more. He would actually kind of occasionally be the 3rd best player in the old team. So I think that's why it's taken away from him in that sense. But when you're surrounded by this much talent, there's no need to have an ego about it. You don't ever have to be the great player in the team. You're not going to be, you don't have to either. You just have to play a workman role and let those guys be stars and set them up to be stars. And if you do so, forget all the playing German style players. Play your own style. Play the Mousesports style and have Nico be a star, even though he's this guy from Bosnia. Who cares? You'll set the team up and it'll be better than the old team was.
And then the next guy we want to highlight is Rush, my favorite rock band. So he's picked a really good name for himself. Go ahead and walk us through Rush.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, well, like I said, he was playing in Elevate earlier in the year. He was one of those guys hoping, well, if I play with veterans like Storm, play with XBC, maybe things rub off from them, I can learn some of it. Playing with young, rising talents like Roka, Desi, okay, we've got some talent going on here. I think that team really thought if we could keep that lineup together, maybe we could do something. They couldn't, unfortunately, because Elevate famously was like a revolving door, and the NA shuffle was always going on even below the top teams at all times throughout the year. So he's one of the people, unfortunately, who suffered from that. He tried to go along with Roka to other teams and tried to get in the mix there, but for some reason, I can only assume political, he's never been considered for one of these top teams. He's never been a name that was even on a short list to make it into a Team Liquid, to make it into any of these CLG, into a Cloud9. Unfortunately for him, he still needs to prove himself in that respect, because it does seem like, in terms of in-game ability, he's a guy who plays within himself. He doesn't try any of the crazy stuff that so many NA players do, where they'll stupidly rush at a guy when they're 1v3 and they're all set up. He just plays within himself, plays a measured game, and at this point in time, you could use some of those players in a Team Liquid or in a CLG type team, I think. So actually, I think he's a little bit underrated. I don't want to go too far and say he's like a rising talent or something, but he's probably a bit better than his exposure level would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like about him, actually. You know, you've got that American Rambo gung-ho style that we often talk about, and unfortunately, that loses American teams rounds because, as the Europeans say, it's dumb. I mean, it looks great when it comes off, but if you've got a numerical advantage, use it. Don't peek. Don't go full matchmaking, right? Now, Rush actually understands that better than anyone. Perhaps that's a reason why his statistics don't look too impressive when they're up on the board. But I agree with Duncan. I think there's some teams out there that could benefit from a cool head.
Yeah, next guy we're going to talk about, we're going to flip it back over, Chris J. Why don't you start us off with Chris J?
Well, I mean, what can you say about Chris J? As I said, I mean, this guy, he went through a period of time where people were talking about him maybe not being this top-level AWPer, not being a top-level LAN player. All of those allegations have been, demonstrably unproven. He's been really, really good. And actually, when we've been talking about a disappointing Mousesports turning up to the majors, we've never talked about a disappointing Chris J. And not lately. I mean, this guy has been on point. He's been landing ridiculous AWP shots. He's got very specific positions, very specific maps. He does as well as anybody in Europe with the AWP. And as I keep saying, what makes him incredibly dangerous is, and always gives Mousesports a chance on the force buy rounds, is he put a scout in his hands. He's absolutely dangerous. Yeah, there's been a nerf to the jump scout, what with the hitbox fix and everything that we've seen in recent updates. That hasn't impacted on Chris J's impactfulness with the scout. So this is a very, this is a really important player within the terms of Mousesports being successful, and he deserves to be talked about as one of the elite level players in Europe, in my opinion.
Chris J is the guy who benefited the most from the arrival of Nico, because bringing in Nico switched communication to English. I remember seeing an interview where he said that, okay, he understood some German, but he'd hear in German, he'd speak in English. Now, he doesn't have to be the star either, because Nico's playing a lot better. He's got Nex there, so he's in a comfort zone now. Now, when he can contribute a big game, now you're going to be very dangerous. But it's not like we look before when Nex was playing out of his mind for those few months. Every time they failed, first place he went down the scoreboard, where is Chris? Did he disappear in this game? Was he missing his AWP shots in this game? Did he cost them by buying too many AWPs? Now that's not the case. Now he's just like the third guy there, and when he contributes, that's when he can make them a potentially top international team.
I mean, that's what's going to be really interesting in the context of this matchup, because Chris J is just a far superior AWPer to Shazam. I mean, literally, this guy has got real opportunity, especially on the maps that they've got coming at them here. You know, you think about the importance of a good AWP on Inferno, Overpass. He's going to, and Cash, of course. I just think Chris J's got the potential to have a really big series here, because I don't see who the hell can shut him down from Conquest, really. Like, just in terms of that, AWP to AWP duel, I think he's got that in the bag.
Well, I mean, luckily for Conquest, they've got two potential AWPers, because they're also going to have Nafly sometimes AWPing, and he's a guy where, I mean, you saw it on the stats sheet, it said best weapons AK, so he's not using it all the time, but he really is like a heat check guy, where if he feels like he's hot with it, or he's got the right position, if they play Cobble, that sort of map, he will pick it up. And he's the guy where he's the Chris J style player, actually. He just goes for that super quick shot. And he doesn't try to set it up and lead the shot and have an angle. He tries to peek out, see you, spot you, scope in, and take the shot as fast as possible. Now, that means when you pull off those couple of kills, you're going to look spectacular. Yeah. But that's also, as Chris J shows, he's one of the best at it, is that's a really, like, the variance on that style is going to be incredibly high. So the risk-reward, it's big on both ends, but it's also going to be very hard to be consistent with that. That's why he's not the primary AWPer. That's why it's actually better to have him as the secondary AWPer along with Shazam.
And I think what we're watching as well is, in terms of the secondary open role that he's been doing, I think we're watching the evolution of a player. He's becoming a lot more well-rounded. You think about kind of the sheer volume of kills and stuff he would be, dropping when he was in his online games. I'm really liking the fact that he's adding versatility to his play now. Sure, he hasn't posted some massive numbers here, but I think this has been a breakout LAN performance in terms of maturity, how well he's performed, how important he's been to the team. So I like seeing him sort of become this secondary AWPer, developing a very broad skill set. He's only 17, and when you think about NA and all of the many star players that are meant to be up and coming, and you give him 12 months and he still haven't gone anywhere, let's see where Naf is in 12 months. I think he can be somewhere a lot better.
All right, that's going to do it for us, gentlemen. We're going to start the second semifinal. It's going to be Inferno. Conquest. Can they take down Mousesports?
Yeah.
Helium and Launders.
All right, thank you, Scoots. Inferno being the first map could be a big deal. It's one of Conquest's favorites. Mousesports, of course, no slouches on this map either, Launders.
Do you believe?
The crowd certainly believes.
Okay, all right.
Right, and we'll take the poll. Who wants Mousesports to take this series and go to the finals? A few claps. We got one guy's clapping pretty hard.
I mean, I'm clapping myself.
What about Conquest? No? Okay. There we go. Rush with the nade up banana. It's going to be Nico. He takes half damage from that nade, but he does find a headshot onto Stanislaw. He's going to fall into the sandbags. Dennis now going to peek out. He's got 4 people stuck in the columns. Dennis, 2 headshots. Rush answers back with 1 more, but they're left in a 2 versus 4, and 2 people still in the B site. That'll be Nico and Nex.
No, either side is pretty hard to take. We have 2 on B. We have 2 Conquest players all the way pushed up in B, and Nex, after 1 peek, recedes to safety while they can ask for a rotate. Naf is going to put the pressure on him and hits him with a flying headshot.
The Naf flying headshot.
Oh, this pillar impossible to spam.
Yeah, especially with a USP. So Rush Wants to get some kills. Does actually change out the pistols instead of reloading. What can he do here? He's pinned at Skulls. Nico takes him out, and that's a 3K for Nico. Dennis with 2. Mousesports will take the pistol round. Great way to start off the CT side.
Yeah, huge round from Mousesports. And you know what was interesting about last night was Conquest were able to win 5 out of 6 pistol rounds. They looked actually fantastic on their pistol rounds. But Mousesports, we see them win just pretty much every pistol round that they play against any team. They're extremely good with them, and I think it has to do with the fact that they do have Nico next and Chris J. Chris J being so good with an op, and we always see oppers be so good at pistoling, and him being world class I think adds to that. Now Natfly's gonna be working up mid. Chris actually might take some damage here, not enough though. However.
Yeah, Chris with that auto shotgun. He's living by the motto that you got to spend money to make money. So there's one $900 kill, as I'm sure on the CT side he'll want to get out to that op very quickly, and the shotgun could facilitate that. But Shazam opening up top of middle, taking that kill onto Gabi, and they are wrapping onto A. Chris J still holding fast here on that column. Next with the MP9 turns, but will fall to Daps. 2-on-3 right now. Conquest still trying to do what they can to get into the A site, but here's Chris J with a 3rd kill for $900. He's making so much money. Daps over the default box. He's all alone, 1 versus 3. At least all the players are in front of him, but it's Dennis. Cuts him down with the P90.
Yeah. They made it slightly expensive. Conquest were able to open up top mid, but Chris J, off the back of that auto shot, he grabbed so much money off of Conquest there. He's up to 6K already. I mean, he's not going to pick up that op because they know they're going to go up against a Glock save. All he's going to do is try to farm some more so that next round he's going to be fully ready to have op armor nades and have some money left over.
Yeah, no matter what, even if he dies on this round, he'll have enough for the op and the nades going into the next one with that $27 he picked up off those frags.
$27.
Yeah,
it's a lot of double bubble.
$27. He was up to 5,400 on this round, and there's the MP9 doing what it does. Just mowing down the terrorists with these Glocks. No armor. It's tough for them. That Molotov dissipates, and the smoke goes down. Nico even shooting through it, and the wagon takes down Stan, so it's Rush. Goes for the P250.
Inferno's not an easy map to get a plant on a rifle round, on an eco round. That's one of the other reasons that it makes it so CT-sided is that you can't even get money to buy quite often. I guess the one saving grace for a terrorist is, I mean, you do need nades, but you can go on a light buy. There's a lot of forward aggressive control that you can take with just a nice pop flash, top banana, grab car, or work apps with just like a single Molotov for bedroom and a double peek in the stairs. And look for Conquest to look to take map control early on. When we saw them play Cash, they kind of avoided going for full executes right away. They instead try to fight for map control every single round, play with that patience, realizing that if you have really good parts, you don't want to waste them all in a single flash execute and risk getting blind and mollied and so on.
All right, and going into the first rifle round, Mousesports having the confidence to keep up the shotgun and the SMG. Gabi with the P90. He'll just be playing Arch right now, and Chris J. I mean, where are you going to go with the shotgun? Of course, it's going to be into the apartments, the most close quarter position on the map. Daps is looking to work his way up. Does spot next, wants to go peek out, but it's Chris J with the headshot with the XM. So 5 versus 4 right now. What can Conquest do?
You know, what's really ironic about that spot is that he went up to Abs by himself to see what he would find, but since no one was there to trade, there was no trade made. It could have been 4v4 in that situation. If they had someone jumping up on Abs to take Nex's attention away, maybe Chris goes down, maybe Nex goes down, but instead they just lose a man for free. But what was really ironic was that double haul setup can often result in just 2 terrorists going down, and I don't think you would go there if you expected to see 2 CTs.
Dan was pretty close to that shot, but Nico is quicker out at dark. Brings down Stan. Dennis peeking over the coils. Finds Shazam. It's Rush alone on the T-stairs. I think he hears those footsteps of Nex. Light post almost ruining that spray down. He'll find the kill on to Nex. That was Chris J that peeked at middle, who now has an AK, so he's traded out for that since his comrade has fallen. Nice rush, another headshot. He's got 2, just trying to make it expensive right now, do as much as he can. And yeah, pretty good that he dies there. I mean, 4 seconds left, didn't want to die for time.
No, I mean, he could
maybe could have run away to save.
Yeah, he almost certainly could have been could have saved there and recycled this AK. I think that would have been the better decision by far. Like, he's had info on mid and maybe not an info on the third guy, but Mousesports were going to more than certainly play the bomb, and so after getting those 2 kills, I think he should have counted his lessons and and head for T-spawn, but instead try to make it more expensive for Mouse. And I guess that's just because Conquest are still early in this half, and next round, when they buy, they want to expect some good returns in terms of doing economic damage to Mousesports.
So it looks like with Conquest setting up in Banana, they've got one smoke. It's going out now. It's going to land right next to Dennis. That'll block off CT. A flash on Daps and a flash on Naf. So we know that those will be used. And there they go over. They're going to have to charge for the Molotov. It gets extinguished, actually. And that was a smoke coming over from Arch. So that backfired. Miscommunication from Mousesports. Stan opening it up. Brings down Nico. Dennis getting over to the garden. Will find Stan. So Mousesports, the CTs, still have that construction guard in control. The bomb goes down. That's really all Conquest wanted to do here. Maybe they can get more from it. They're low, but it's 3-on-3. Gob B finds one. Will he find a second? He does. Nafly at second oranges goes down. It's up to Daps. 1 versus 3. Costs some more damage. Can't get it done. Mousesports win another round.
Yeah, nice cleanup. They end up breaking into the site. It was really nice to grab a smoke just for the Molotov that was thrown down to help him do extra damage, and a good flashover also pushed our player off schools, which rendered him useless pretty much. Gob ended up cleaning up for his team. That was good. But Conquest got that plant, and because they were saving, here you go, the Let's Go Conquest chant, because they're going to have one of their first full buys of the half. A little bit of money left over, and I'd like to see them not simply walk into apps by themselves, for example. Like, do everything in kind of a buddy system and make sure they can trade. Going 1-for-1 should be their strategy at this moment, unless they want to take something fast.
Oh, they are. There's Chris J at Arch, still just on the AK for now. Finds one, lights up another actually. Shazam to half HP, but Shazam comes back at him, gets the kill. Gob B gets one, but Stan is there. Gob with a second. And it's just Stan. He's been spotted. They know he's over there under the porch. He's going to work up, and clearing that pit can be one of the hardest things to do. And yep, Gob B hanging out in the back of it by the benches. Finds a triple kill. So big defense on the porch side from Gob.
Yeah, big round from Gob. And what do you do when Gob is fragged, when you have so many other star players on the team? Mousesports off to a 6-0 lead. Conquest, this is their favorite map. I mean, they took Virtus Pro to OT. You could say they would be considered favorites versus either of these teams in this matchup. And so the fact that Mousesports are doing this versus them, I think, says a lot. Though they were also afforded the opportunity to watch a demo of them playing Inferno, which I'm sure this is a team that you might not prepare for going to this tournament now, but you see them in the semifinals and you wonder how they got there. And part of the reason was by being so tenacious and having a pretty good map pool.
A bit of a gap there in the smoke as Shazam will creep up middle. He's got Chris J next, waiting at Arch if he decides to go any further. And no one's actually behind Shazam. He slides over to the top of mid, and it'll be Rush to help out from Boiler. Rush and Daps working up in the apartments. So Daps not going alone this time, because that certainly backfired a little earlier on. And it is just going to be Nafly in the base of middle, base of Banana, making sure they don't get flanked. Here come the flashes and the charge through the smoke. Nex is very, very blind. Will they spot him out in time? They do. Shazam gets it. Gabi did find Rush, and another one. Just at a 3K last round. He's got at least a 2 here. Daps can't get the kill on Chris J. And Gabi finally taken out of the round. 2 versus 3. Conquest. Not quite in the sight yet. Through the spammable box. Naf gets one. But Dennis and Nico are quick to clean it up. And that's 7-0.
Yo, a slight lack of explosiveness there from Conquest. I mean, the trades were fantastic. And Stanislaw always gets that kill. He always gets that trade frag whenever you need it. He even saves his teammates with entries quite often. But on that round, they got top mid. Shazam got an entry, and no one was behind him to follow up when he got traded out. And that would have been a key point for them.
Got the 16-0 chant from the crowd right now. So there are certainly some Mousesports supporters here, and that's pretty nice to see. You would think Mousesports is a brand that would travel pretty well across the globe in esports. Big name. Absolutely.
Very marketable players. Look at Gob. Look at beautiful Gob.
Exactly.
Godby.
Godby. He has been right now. He's 8-2. Dennis is 10-2 with the most frags in the server right now. 4 men on Conquest have 3 kills. Daps on the 1. So even as a unit, you know, they need to do a bit more.
Yeah. So they were afforded apps control there, right? They took it with 2 players. That was good. They didn't actually see anyone to try and trade up, but they had map control. I think these longer rounds for Conquest will most likely work out better if they're able to fight for top Banana or apps control. Ultimately, you know, Mousesports are going to be favored on this map. This is a map they have better practice on in general. But if on top of being able to hit their shots, have better spacing when they want to execute, I think we'll have a lot better time taking a site like A, which Inferno A is one of the hardest sites in the game to take.
All right, so there was a quick little pause there by Conquest, but we're ready to go. We're back in it into round 8. The max bonus, so Conquest with enough to buy up again. Just the Tech 9 on Dapsy will go for some more of that utility. Shazam going to get the, oh, that was actually just a flash to the top of middle. So not smoked off by either team yet. Nico trying to work his way down to the base of Banana. He seems very prepared for this boost. He sees that smoke. He knows what they want to do, and that's a beautiful frag from Nico, completely outplaying the stand there. Nap somehow, he's very fortunate to have got that trade kill.
Nico's the man who, you know what he's going to do, and he's still going to kill you.
And Dennis, even in between the columns, he goes down. Naf with 2 great frags to get something going for Conquest. Chris J with the op, Willie to shut down everything they're working with. He misses that no-scope. Shazam's there for the trade out on Rush. 3-on-2, first time the Conquest has had the man advantage. Now just one man, it's Gob B. He'll have to get another triple kill, but they know where he is. Gob B is at A, so hey, let's go over to B.
Yeah, you know, he's using his utility here, but I think he's almost going to put himself in a position to save being at half HP. The only thing that he has going for him, even if he wanted to go for this and plan on losing, was that he could make this round expensive, and it would be very, very expensive. We would see Galil buy his next round from Conquest, which would be an absolute disaster. And there's the card speed. No players from Conquest go down. Great cleanup overall. They put a round on the board.
And I wanted to look at the last couple rounds. 3 people alive in round 6, 5-6, 3 people survive for Mousesports, only 2 in round 7, so the money isn't the best. A couple people are loaded, so they're getting the drops in. And it is going to be another rifle round for Mousesports. We got certainly a North American chant going on right there.
That was beautiful. Well organized.
Dap Stanislaw with the P90 and a Tech 9. Nico will find 1 and gets the smoke down. He only survives on 7 HP. Flash will go through. Nico dodges that, but Napfly, that's an easy kill. Cleans him up. Chris J going to try to get into the construction as fast as he can. Might want to now hold it a little bit. Molotov's off. Stan is the one waiting there and holding that. Rush going to move in now, and Stan getting close for the trade out perhaps. Oh, Rush just wins the battle 1-on-1. So Conquest holding onto that B site 4 alive. That'll send Gob B and Nex running to the hills. They want to save those weapons. I don't think Conquest is in any position to really chase and find them.
No,
so Mousesports should be able to have a bit of a buy going into this next round.
That was nice. I mean, they're finding an exploit here. That's 2 rounds in a row. I mean, this is saving them from having to double save on the loss. And Conquest and Mousesports absolutely know this. They always have a good beat in the economy. Now, Mousesports is saving 2 players. Conquest exiting CT. May or may not have the interest to chase, but really don't want to lose any men. And now we'll move into this next round versus maybe
the chance
maybe
been
the
reversed.
last buyout. That's awesome.
I think that's a tall order to hold Mousesports to the 7 rounds, but we shall see.
Yeah, but the exploitable weakness right now is Banana, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean that Mousesports start playing 3-2? And can Conquest condition them into playing 3-2, because that would leave A wide open, and that's what you really want to do.
That definitely opens up. Conquest could pull the reversal on them if Mousesports feel that they need to bolster their defenses at the B site. Chris J's come back to the shotgun, and he's in a great spot. But he doesn't even get the first frag. Stan takes it down. Next is able to get the 1. Napfly will take the fight and distracts him enough. Rush with the flank. Gabi pulling out a flash, getting spammed through the boxes. 2 people fighting him now. So Gob actually did find a kill onto Stan, so 2 versus 2. And they're stuck on the arch side. That's Mousesports going in for the retake. Bomb will go down actually behind the single box in the site. Both players are here, so it's not really your best after plant positions. 1 player watching each side right now, but Naf, he finds Dennis. It's Nico with the op. What can he do? Oh, there he is. 1 shot onto Daps, and another onto Naf. What a flick.
Whoa.
That's neat. Have you ever seen him lose a 1v2?
I've never seen him lose a 1v2. I didn't consider one of I don't know. That was amazing. What a shot. I mean, what a 1v2. You know, I was thinking about all these things to say about the way Conquest played that. I guess I'll still say at least one thing. Rush came up with that beautiful trade, rushing up mid into Boiler when they spotted that there was going to be 2 halls, and that split ended up working out almost beautifully. Stan also getting the entry versus an auto shotty holding an angle
very
on you.
surprised to see that. I saw in a nearby universe that Chris J just got 3 kills.
I mean, Nico, man, that was just pretty ridiculous. Standing behind this Molotov, actually, whoa, had the opportunity to take a shot, too. That was quite close. Wow.
And it's Naf. Naf actually has come up big, right? The first round the Conquest gets, it's Nafly getting those 2 kills in Banana. He got the kill in Apartments on the last round, and here he is finding the first one again. And bringing down Nico, who had, you know, such a hot round in round 10.
Yeah. And see, now, Mousesports have shooed Conquest off of playing top of Banana. Chris, again with that auto shotty at mid. Oh, he's pushing right.
Sure. Oh, finds one at bench, hand over face, but it's Naf. Just in the right place at the right time. He's got 2 kills, 5 versus 3, a little under a minute to go in the round. So Conquest still with some time to pull off the rotations. And look at that. You see 2 men just flying through CT spawn right now for Mousesports, going in the complete wrong direction. If that bomb goes down in a 5-on-3, Mousesports, what will they do? Oh my gosh, Dennis, the 2 for 1.
No needs to get this bomb.
Yeah, they will just have to
double
double peek this. All right, so 1 for 1. So Conquest holding on to the advantage. Gobby actually getting dinked up through the wall for just 13. He finds a kill on the DAP, so it's going to be Shazam. If he can 1v5, surely he can 1v1. He's got the bomb down, so that's going in his favor. Smoke for Banana, that's the way that Gobby was going. He's just going to charge right on through it. Can't quite figure out where Shazam is. Gobby somehow alive without even taking damage in that little exchange. Very blind, he's tamped the bomb. Shazam not going for this peek. It's all the mind games right now. And Shazam, he gets the frag. Conquest finding their 3rd round.
Well, after that,
closer than it needed to be, though.
After that whip spray, that was super close. Daps also only doing 10 damage with a dink. That was almost an unfortunate turn of events. Chris J flashing himself through a smoke down mid and then trying to find a kill to even up. I mean, that just shows you how weak they were in their buy, because there was an auto shotty and a P90, and I think Chris realized if A would be taken, that they were going to need more manpower to do it. So he tried to get the man advantage and took a risk that didn't work. Conquest were a little bit too aware, and now there will be no force up. Mousesports are going to there will be a force up.
Yeah, they force up.
This is just a complete force buy, as if they lost a pistol here. Deagles and 5.7s.
Yeah, well, Nico and Nex showed us how potent they are with the Deagles in their overpass match on day 1 against Navi, where they actually closed it out with only Deagles. And there's Chris J also chiming in. He gets a nice headshot on to Rush.
Takes a bit of damage, but I think if that AK is within reach, Shazam needs to try to get rid of it. And yeah, there he does.
So Conquest still spread out. It looks like the bomb's going to be picked up and maybe brought back in to Banana. Stan trying to hop over the smoke on that wagon, see what he can see. Nico just holding this angle. Obviously, some big Deagle plays have been made from this position. Will we see some more? If anyone were to do it in this match, you would think it would be Nico. Playing very, very close to the smoke.
You know, what was fantastic from him last round was their ability to pick the right site. I mean, they got Mousesports to stack A while they hit B.
There's the flashes, Molotov to new box, so Nico can't hide there. He's going to post up at second orange's flash going in to the trash there. Stan, oh, that was just the fake. Look at the bomb. It's at the top of mid. Nex is getting pulled over to B, so now it's just got B here. He will drop Shazam. Beautiful shot and finds a second. Gobby's playing very, very well here at A. He's a big part of Mousesports having these rounds. And time, 4 seconds, can't plant. Doesn't want to die after. These guys will have to survive. Stan and Naf both with AKs. They cannot afford to die. Still peeking out. Stan, lucky to be alive on 4 HP.
Yeah, absolutely. After the time, Gob hitting 2 nice shots.
Yeah,
that 5.7.
He's been outstanding.
I mean, it's just not going to work if Gob is also hitting shots. He's just he's playing really, really well right now. And Conquest, the thing I like about them is that on these anti-eco rounds or anti-force-up rounds, they know that you're always on edge. Every little bit of information, you're going to overreact to it. And so they always sell their fakes, and they save them pretty much exclusively for when they're versing force buys or versing save rounds, because they know that's the best way, the best time they can get the players out of the site.
Dabs got himself into a pretty good spot. He got the close battle that he wanted, but he couldn't land the headshot. He has done some damage in Conquest in this round. Naf with that op, Stan with an AK, and the 2 Tech 9s. And look at the response by Mousesports. They actually got the submachine guns out there, MP9, UMP, and the standard CT defense right now for Mousesports. It's all on Conquest to make moves.
Yeah. Now they don't have a lot of utility. I mean, they've actually got 4 smokes on the board. I mean, 4 smokes and Molotov, you can do quite a bit with that. Mousesports are going to be fully aware of the fact, but they've got the man advantage. I mean, they have the ability to play 2-3 and not over-rotate, and that's what Conquest need to try to change, because if they're able to get a kill here, then they can exploit like a whole area, and Mousesports won't be able to defend. Truth is, Mousesports believe it's going to be some sort of a B hit. I mean, they've got a fast rotate, but Arch is wide open. No one even spotting. Stanislaw top mid, outside of Boiler, looking for some action.
Yeah, so he's going to be lurking around the Arch side. That should be expected when the B hit comes out. I think Mousesports will be careful on the rotations over. And Gabi's even holding the Arch in case it's through. But there's Shazam getting the entry. He finds next. Gabi going to push through the smoke. No, he will hold off. Probably the right call. There were a lot of people there waiting for him. Stand into a great spot. Finds Dennis. Gabi turning quickly. Hits the headshot, but Conquest with the advantage. 7 seconds on the clock as that bomb goes down. Gabi will show up at the coils and that smoke to dissipate. So Gabi's got a pretty poor position. 2 men back there. Naf hits the shot, but they know exactly where Gab is. He has no idea where they are. Rush finds the kill, and Conquest going down a man early, but they persevere, and they find their 4th round here on T-side.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it happen. They're actually earning themselves what could be a 2-for-1. Mousesports very low, and Conquest always manage to bring it to an economic game, it seems. They continue to keep it competitive, find new ways to open up rounds, almost never go on full-on loss streaks, apart from if it starts at the beginning of the game, because that's the easiest way to do it, the pistol, the first rifle, and then the 2-for-1s that follow. Yeah, Nico with the Deagle, always been so good with it.
Yep, those Deagles for Mousesports have been huge this tournament. Bringing down Stan. Definitely a star player for the team, but now that he's gone, maybe he can move his troops a little more effectively. Conquest need to be careful. Of course, it is just that force buy, but they might be panicking a bit as they've lost a man early again. And here's Chris J to bring down another. He finds Shazam. Rush at least trading that one, and Gabi in the window looking into alternate. He will go down. He has done a lot of damage, but it's a 3-on-3. The Eagles can easily clean up Rush. That's a free meal for any of these Mousesports players.
Gabi dying on site, left it open. I mean, he was going to take that risk. Oh, wow.
Oh, doesn't actually spot Naf. Takes him down soon after the plant. The bomb cleans him up. Rush. One shot from this Deagle can take him down. Rush versus Dennis. Dennis already on the site, and not really the best plant for those apartments. Rush will flash out. Got to have heard the bomb been tapped. Doesn't look like he'll peek on that one either. Again, all coming down to the mind games here. This time he'll stay on it.
No chance to win.
Rush going to go down as well, and the plant just wasn't good to play that position, unfortunately, and he doesn't go for the peek. He needed to get aggressive right away if he thought the player was going to stick it.
Up until that point, when you knew it was a single box plant, if you're crouching behind the box, there's no way that you can hit it from outside of the balcony. You have to jump out. If you jump out as soon as the plant is tapped, you're able to get around the safe plant and shoot the player defusing if he sticks it. Now, he could have got off in that situation. It would have been really hard to win because Rush was so low and only had a Tech 9. Up until that point was calling out the fake diffuses because he had no other choice. He was very low. Next, however, could have stopped the plant in the first place. Ended up getting a kill to make up for it. And so you could say that was a round Mousesports to won anyway.
It definitely was. Oh, Dennis also through the smoke. 5 versus 3, not looking too good here in the last round for Conquest. Dennis gonna get another, actually found a triple kill on that one. Nico just going through very, very aggressive. Stanislaw, 2 Tech 9 headshots. Still not enough to open the B site. The rotations have come over, and you got Chris J with the scout residing at the top of middle, making sure he can defend it, or at least call that, hey, they're actually changing the direction. They're coming to the A site. Chris J spotted them now, and starting to slide over will be next.
Scout J, all alone. Is able to smoke off mid. I mean, this might deny someone from trying to go through it. I mean, they're probably asking each other if they have flashes right now, and they don't. They've only got Molotovs. And I guess that means they're going to camp out the smoke. Chris not asking for a rotate either. Still this 2B setup, and I think that it's because they have the smoke down. Wow, what a shot.
Yep, takes Stan right out of the air, and it's all on Shazam right now. 1 versus 3. He's gone over to the Arch side, hoping that he can find a mistake from Mousesports, catch a rotator That's maybe a little too happy to get to the A site, but Mousesports not going to make that mistake. Shazam had the right idea, pre-aiming into the hallway at CT. Takes actually a lot of damage from that. He's down to 3. And Gabi will take it down.
And that's it. Pittering to a halt our Conquest, who throughout the middle of that half were able to string together a couple of rounds at a time, rounds that they weren't economically favored in, and it brings them to a total of 4. This is the classic, in my opinion, scoreline that we see.
The scoreline on Inferno?
Yeah, of Inferno, where the terrorists get 4 rounds. You know, the one thing that helps for Conquest is this doesn't consist of a pistol. We do have 4 rifle rounds that they've earned.
That is a good point. And they easily could have had some more, right? There were a few force buys. One nearly worked, one did work, so Conquest could have just as easily had 5 or 6. They do only have the 4. Winning the CT pistol is going to be paramount to their success here on Inferno. Like, they need that, because if Mousesports get a pistol, win the subsequent 2 rounds, they're up to 14 with ease.
Look at this kill distribution. It's really all wrong at this moment. Like, Dennis, even though you know, he is a very apt player, is right now top fragging in the server. Even has that 20 efficacy, and Gabi up to 16 kills as well, who, you know, essentially is taking the place of Nex, who only has 5 frags. And so they're obviously causing problems for him. I mean, on the side of Conquest.
Well, B was the site that was falling, and that's where Nex was, so.
Right. Yeah, there was their weakness in the beginning. They were able to exploit. Dennis, actually, they switched up a couple, like Dennis, Nico, and Nex have all played B, I think. And yeah, they did get exploited a couple of times. It will take a stalwart CT defense, though, to defend against Mousesports, who are going to feel very comfortable going into this half, I think, pistol or not.
And, I mean, Naf at 14 frags, he's also played very well. Naf's really the reason. You see the first kills, he has 1 first kill and a couple other rounds when they were man down. It was also then Naf to open it up. So he was very big for Conquest, a big part of the reason they even have 4 rounds there on the rifles. But what can they do going in to the second half? The crowd loves you on this.
Healy up, Healy up.
They seem to like me as well.
Healy up.
At least a few of them anyways. Thank you for that.
He gets really awkward and he blushes.
No,
it's super cute.
Whose hand is this? Whose hand is that?
That is the hand of
We're going to find out.
And
Conquest.
Stannis
They play for
Rush.
Oh, we will never
I literally
know.
have no idea.
So the teams do have time at halftime. This is certainly a big game. It's the semifinals here at the CEVO-MLG Season 8 Pro League.
Imagine if Conquest take a final here. Imagine if Mouse make a final here. Either of these teams.
Yeah, it's a big story either way.
Yeah, I mean, Mouse already knocked out one of the favorites of the tournaments to get here. They haven't dropped a map
in their
so
first
far.
match of the tournament. Mousesports having to come and play Na'Vi. Like, certainly
Conquest.
they can't get it done, but they just 2-0 Na'Vi with relative ease once they got the map too.
Yeah, Conquest beating out a team which consisted of players that are on their team right now.
Yeah. Conquest knock out the hope of NA and thus became the hope of NA.
Yeah.
Pretty much at this tournament. That's what they've done. Oh, Rush. Smoke grenade to the thigh.
Will that affect the round?
I don't know. I think that was like 1 armor damage to him there.
It just affects where the smoke lands, but it looks like it's still clean at top mid. It might have, I think Chris might have been expected to be able to go through this, but we'll decide to anyway.
Yeah, and they went through that without flashes. I'm surprised. Usually if you get that smoke, you're going to put a flash through it. Of course, you've got less utility to work with. Dennis does have 2 flashes, though.
See this ultra passive setup from Conquest. 2 back on the side in B, 1 all the way in CT, spotting Archway, and then double pit setup for A. Double pit is just extremely strong. There's just so many good angles you can defend from. We see Rush taking lane. This is how you play USP advantages. Not getting too close, not getting overrun.
I like that. Smoking off the cross into sight, but of course the Conquest players are doubled up in pit. As you mentioned, Rush finds the 1, Naf gets 1, but on the reload, Gabi jumping out with the Glock will find him. Daps in library. He's going to be the first responder. And the other players for Conquest coming through Arch. And how many players have got into pit? At least Gabi right now for Mousesports. Other 2 in the site. Gabi also going to use the range of that USP. Dennis has been spotted. They know he's cornered in the back of the site. Daps will take down Chris J. Dennis still going to fight for his life. What can he do? He goes down to Daps. It's just Gabi. Nice headshot onto Daps. These players are low. Dennis Law especially. Yeah, that's a damage of Gabi with the 4K on the round. Great pistol work.
Look at God.
And he is hyped up.
Wow, what a round. Insane shooting. And you just saw it happening. Gob has just been playing so well this whole map. And wow, fantastic to see. Always good to have your IGL be that happy. And
it's 1.6 Gob B that showed up to this match.
Yeah, 2.0.
Conquest still getting the cheers. They got the force buy up. The CT force buys on Inferno can be terrifying. There's a lot of close angles at the top of Banana and in the apartments. And it's actually Stan with the Deagle who will just finish off next with a couple shots to the body.
Oddly reminiscent of Chris J getting that first Eagle frag versus Mouse in their second round bye. And that'll affect anything. Map control, I wonder, Conquest on Cobble had Stan push A when they thought that it was going to be a group towards B, especially when they had the man advantage. They knew there probably wouldn't be an anchor on the other side of the map, someone lurking. And once they smell blood, or when they don't smell anything, they decide to push for information. Gabi, though, evening up, opening up a site, and causing a reaction, leaves Daps alone.
And he did take some damage for it, but he's evened it up to the 4-on-4, so Mousesports will be favored, not only in that regard, but also in the fact that they've got these rifles. Daps does find a frag, just the one. Shazam with the 5-7. Bringing down Chris J. Nico with the trade. 1 HP, but through the smoke, he connects onto Nico. Gabi at 50 or so HP, working around to Garden. Naf actually hanging out behind the sandbags in construction. Rush making his way up Banana. He'll try to plant aggro. Will he fake plant this? No, he will not. And he's going to pay the price down to 15 HP right now.
And that
the
should
time
be the
just
round.
Continues to tick down. Yeah, more than likely will be the round. He's still going to try for it this time. Oh, doesn't even go for the fake. Finds Rush, just flicking, but Naf on the 1 HP gets one through the smoke, finishes it off Gabi from the back of the bomb site.
Oh my God! I thought he almost had no play left, and baiting out on that second fake. Unbelievable. Actually gets that first kill, and Naf so low, so close to dying. But wow, what a frag through that smoke, just lining it up on a player crossing. That was really nice.
With the Deagle, too. You only got 7 bullets to work with at most.
And in my opinion, Mousesports haven't got to those critical rounds on T side yet. I mean, I'd say like 12 is one of them, but it really, like, that's kind of like the yellow, and then the red is like 13, 14. You know, as long as Conquest are able to stay out of that, it might be hard to string together those rounds. If you win those rounds on an island after 4 or 5 rounds, have to reset your economy, can only get, you know, can't make anything work really well for you, don't get lucky, then it might take too long for Mousesports to come back from this, but on this force up, have top bracket control and abs control.
Yeah, well played there by Shazam. He gets very flashy, falls into Arch, drops the smoke down to just stop the advance of Mousesports, who were probably hoping to get up to Arch, maybe even go to B, wrap on A. And Dennis up in the apartments.
Anti-eco mans, you can just play site advantages and look for spray downs. Give yourself the ability to throw nades without getting exposed. And try not to put yourself in the face of too many angles.
Yeah, so the top main control right now belonging to Mousesports, but they've got the hardest task ahead of them and only 1 smoke to make it a little bit easier. That's going to be on Nico. Everyone at A right now.
Probably not
Conquest
surprised.
Not rotating yet, just keeping their 3 members there.
There it is.
Yeah, that 1 smoke coming out again. It's going to block off that cross. I really like that smoke that they've been using. Rush though, spraying down 3 headshots. Kickway get the 4th. Nico and Gabi answer. Naf, he's been a massive player for this Conquest lineup. Struggling a bit here against the Deagle. Both these guys struggling, honestly. Nico eventually finishes them off. Daps coming over with the Mag 7 kill, picks up a FAMAS and finishes up Nico. He finds 2 and a nice flashy looking spray down from Rush.
Yeah, I'd like to see that back. That was really, really nice. Just 3 headshots. And if he didn't get all 3 of those kills, I mean, we saw his teammates go down on the site, so that means that that round could have got very ugly. We could have at very least seen a plant. But fortunately for Conquest, they had Rush there on the site boxes to clean up. And now Mousesports, after that armor buy, not getting a plant, are going to have to go back to the drawing board, have only P250s. Nico, though, always getting a deagle for himself. Treat yourself, says Nico.
Yep. Next, a lot of damage from that nade taken. And Conquest should be earning themselves just that free round here. They'll have some submachine guns. Well, actually just the one, the UMP on stand. Shazam with the FAMAS. They're taking it slow. They do have Dennis lurking up at top mid on the arch side. Nico lurking in Boiler, and he's just gone down. Nafly takes him out. Shazam to bring down Dennis. So the A-Lurks have been shut down, but actually more Mousesports members just funneling in behind them.
At this moment, top mid was given to them.
Whoa!
Wow, what a shot.
Got B with the pistols in this match. He has been crazy with them. How many rotations did we see him make into the A site with that 5-7 to retake it? On the pistol round, of course, and even here with that P250. It got him the FAMAS. Rush won't let him hold on to it for very long, though. He takes him out. Naf there. And Naf with 2. He's certainly been the standout player. He's got 20 frags right now for Conquest.
You know, and on that round, Mousesports are going to take every peek they can get, and Conquest are supposed to not, but eventually will have to, and that's that's the ability. Or that's the opportunity you give yourself when you have map control. And as they took top bracket, I think 2 players, one in Apps and one at Arch, died. If they didn't die when they took Arch, they grouped up together and tried to explode. They would have had a much better chance getting a kill trading, but you're always in that mentality on an eke round that you're allowed to take any risk that you want. But that's before you find out your teammates have a chance in the round. And I think economically, they're just Mousesports aren't really in a good place after that last save. Even getting kills. Every kill they could have gotten would have been an extra nade, an extra smoke, Molotov, flash, and so on.
Yeah, so there's not too much utility for them. They've just got 4 smokes. Next with only a flash. You're getting to the minute mark right now. How many smokes are left over at B? That's Stanislaw. Daps playing it. Stan still has a smoke. Rush. First kill onto Dennis. That's a big one going into the rifle round. Nafly gets one. Shazam, a bit of damage. Chris J down to 12 HP. Chris J gets the frag and has got into CT spawn. He's in a very good lurk position right now, but it will rely on the other men on his team taking that A site.
Yeah, Chris not spotting an Arch player. I think he's fully aware that there will be someone in CT, but I think that leaves A weak. No matter how you put it, and wow, take his face off, Gob.
Gob B.
What a shot.
Insane shot. Sees the crack in the truck there. Taking out the pit player and Rush to the back of the site. He will fall. Dap spraying. The tracers have been spotted. They know he's holding out in Moto. The flash maybe didn't go where he wanted, but probably worked well enough anyways. Stan, of course, retaking with just a UMP.
Classic Stan.
Nice flash from Nex. Delaying him a little bit longer. Gobby taken down very quickly by Daps. Next going to be shown in Graveyard, and Daps so quick. What a retake from him. He gets the triple kill. Conquest to 8 rounds. They bring it within 4.
Who's that? That's Daps.
That's Daps.
That's Daps. My goodness.
And the money situation, probably see AKs and maybe 2 people with Tech 9 and utility. Gobby is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Or, alternatively, just buy pistol armor and have a better rifle coming up in round 22 if you're Mousesports.
So what are the couple of things that are important right now? There's a pistol round won by Mouse, but every other one won by Conquest. That's 4 in total in this half. They've got the economic advantage. They've earned themselves another kind of half buy here to even out. Mousesports were able to get a couple of plants, but only one in this half as well, which is another huge reason that they haven't been able to buy as much as they wanted to. Conquest winning this round means...
Oh, Shazam could be in trouble. That was quite a pop flash. He's taking damage. Chris J will bring him down with just the Tech 9. Here's Rush. Will he get another spray down? He's got the bullets to do it. He finds 2. Goes in with the USP. Having trouble hitting the head of Nico, who's actually now got 2 kills with his deagle. Picks up the M4A4, 2-on-2. Daps and Stanislaw going to have to retake this site again. And Daps replicate that last round performance. Nico taking some damage, a quarter of his health gone as he gets away from that Molotov. Lucky to not be burning alive right now. Flash out Daps once more from Moto. Stanislaw's worked his way around completely to the truck side. Dennis might be the one to find him. Daps has got the kill, so it's 1-on-1. Dennis burning a bit, 60 HP. Those shots all over the place. And Daps with another one.
Wow. Actually, really good patience on that retake, and wow, it comes down to like the last 3-second defuse. Conquest now only 3 rounds apart from Mouse. Mouse looked like they were going to win that round, but didn't buy on it. Only planted to buy here, so that is an issue. That did cost them a lot of money. Conquest going to be rebuying, going to go up against a buy of Mouse, and because Mouse did such great economic damage last round, we'll see if that means that Conquest will have to save if they lose this. That could be huge. A great chase flash on the Arch to neutralize Shazam. That was really nice to get that opening frag, and it seems like their apps their apps and A splits work really well. I know Gob always, or oftentimes will take top mid, smoke off arch, send 3 down lane, and then jump 1 through arch to flank, because that's a great way to split a side, especially if you can get 1 kill shooting someone in the back.
Yeah, it seems like Shazam maybe hesitated just a little bit. He had pulled out a flash when blind, like he might wanted to have counter flashed. If he had followed back sooner, he might have rounded that corner. But either way, Conquest do take that round. Of course, it was more expensive than it should have been, right? That was just Tech 9 armor, and it came down to that very close 1 versus 1. So that means 4 guns of Conquest went down. Daps has yet to buy. He's got 4,600. Oh, he's got armor already, so yeah, he's fine. He probably just dropped a player. And we actually did have a quick technical pause. Daps' mic wasn't working.
Okay.
And it might not have even been working when they were going for that retake, so.
Yeah, that could have been huge. I mean, it was really nice. They had a lot of patience in that round, or in that retake. They had 2v2. You know, Nico was doing really good damage. I think he had a great beat on what was going on behind that smoke, spamming Moto. And even though they threw a Molotov on him, just kind of stood confidently. Not sure how he died, but neutralizing, you know, a player in the site and a player in pit, when you have both a smoke on lane and arch, should be a nightmare, and they ended up winning anyway. So that was just a really, really solid performance.
But a full round for Mousesports. That was the half buy into the last round for them. They caused quite a bit of damage. They've got Conquest's economy right where they would want it, right? If Mousesports can take this round, they pretty much earn themselves 2. That'll get them up to 14 rounds, and that's going to be a very commanding position. When that enemy team, the terrorist team, gets to 14 rounds, it can very rapidly just change your buying habits on the CT side. You're always like, all right, we got to buy to win, buy to win, buy to win. Very rarely when you're just on 9 rounds, you're like, oh, let's save to tie. Like,
yeah.
That's a hard decision to make when there could possibly be a 5-6 round difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder what Mousesports are going to do to reinvent themselves here. Even though Conquest took a tactical pause, I think, or a technical pause, excuse me. I think Mousesports could use that time to talk about what they want to do. You know, a very meticulous team that have a deep strategic playbook, and I think on this T side is where they let that flourish. You know, Inferno is a map that's something that takes a lot of time and patience to get good at. And here we do have the app split, which Conquest oftentimes concede. But with this map control, do Conquest want to at least fight for top bracket, or do they want to concede both, play that passive setup, and risk having to lose to a poor site hold, which is a huge risk. You know, you really want your rotations to help you out.
Yeah, and on such an important round, we talked about if Mousesports win this, they probably earn that free round. Conquest just going to pull up the powerful position. They've boosted a player up onto Porch, and NAF from there should definitely get 1 kill, can probably get 2 as long as Shazam is on that arch side also distracting. So that could be big if Mousesports even do decide to hit A.
Mousesports for no damage and almost no nades get free apps control and free top mid control. Or not actually.
No, they don't have top mid yet. I am worried though that no one's helping out Naf up here alone. He should probably just get the 1 frag. He needs someone on that arch side to distract. Yeah, Naf only with 1. Rush helping out underneath. He also grabs 1. He needs to fall back and stay alive in the site. Conceding a bit more control, but trying to just keep that number advantage up.
Oh, and will they know that Dennis is abs? He always goes here.
Chris J finding Shazam, opening up arch side. Rush with 1 more, dropping the bomb. The bomb pretty much delivered to him. He gets out of ammunition. The silenced comes out. Oh, Daps helping. Yeah, time is low. Of course, the bomb just down to Rush's left. Nico going to move in, gets that frag. 2-1. He's got no time to plant. Stan knows this. Another close round. Stan going to try to go in and just crush their economy with a kill after the time, but can't quite find it, spamming through that box.
And they do it. Yeah, you know, having that early stop to their aggression with Nafly on the roof, I think was huge. You know, Rush getting a trade frag as well meant so much for them, and that allowed them to make it 4v3. I mean, getting into the site with 3 players as a terrorist is a nightmare, and so that's how Conquest were able to seal it up. Now, they won't be able to play roof again, I mean, without risking getting flash. It's hard to play no flash, especially with no one there to trade when you do get blind or to eat a flash for you if you want to stay turned around. So we'll have to try to change their setup, and it looks like they're just kind of challenging from both Arch and Lane, and Daps, I think, just took an op bullet through a wall. 50 damage done to him. Chris going to immediately know that the rotate is going to come out to their through construction.
Oh, they're leaving.
And yeah,
some stuff thrown over. Daps taken down to half HP.
At the very minimum, right? If the team is giving you top mid and top banana, then you can spend the first 30 seconds around just going out and clearing it out. You know, giving respect to it, because why not? That's a free way to control rotations.
Well, Shazam wants to be, again, being neutralized by that smoke to the arch side, so Mousesports take the top mid control. They've backed into that passive setup here with Rush behind the sight box, Naf at the truck. Naf in the most powerful position, and he's been the person you'd want here, right? He's seeing these arms, he takes the shots, maybe just baited out a little bit there. And Nico and Chris J opening it up very nicely. Here's Rush, though, almost finding 2. Can only get Dennis. Mousesports now 4 men to the 2 of Conquest, and already Daps hiding out here in construction.
No, I really
Stan holding banana.
I really fear for Conquest in this situation because they're just relying on hitting all their shots. And look, they got 1 kill on that round. Mousesports were able to trade out really fairly, and because it happened so quickly, no one from B site was able to rotate. And that's because when you have top mid, you're 3 seconds from a plant. I mean, you can just run up lane and get there, and if you find the first frag immediately, then you can just rush the site and swarm it. There's no way that anybody is going to be able to retake, especially like 2v4. You know, that would be pretty much impossible. I mean, Stan's got a kit, Daps is a flash, and they're just so far away. Mousesports, I mean, they can stick to the game plan here. I think they don't have to reinvent themselves at this moment. They can stick to their game plan. They're getting map control for free. Conquest, I think, need to turn up that little bit of no respect game to help them get to this point. And maybe fight for apps control, just like Mousesports were doing to them. They worked on a round, and they've got to come back to deal with. So, you know, Conquest can't start out early playing aggressive, see that it works, and then they'll fall into a passive and play that out for the last 6 rounds that they need to win. Mousesports are not going to let them do that.
Well, it looks like they may be getting more aggressive. They threw, no, I thought for sure they'd push into Banana. They threw the smokes to pop at the base of Banana. I thought the CTs might go for more of that control, but already Mousesports have just walked on through that. Molotovs, they clear out the taxi there and sandbag. So top Banana control belongs to Mousesports. And over here in B, it is a bit of a stack. Where are the rifles? Both rifles are actually just at A together. None here in the B stack, and these are just vanilla pistols. The P250's there. Dennis is taking on Ash. Shazam goes down. Rush goes down. They've all fallen. It's going to be Daps and Sam looking to save again because money is in such a bad position right now for Conquest.
Mouse took their spawn to just get up Banana. A lot of nades would have done tons of damage to them, but what Conquest wanted to do was just shoot them out of B, at least bait out utility, and then when they push through the smoke, make it seem like they were stacking the site, which they technically were, but posting up to, ooh.
And Stan has $950. Him dying there, like what is he going to buy into round 25? Daps also
see about that.
There's no money here for Conquest.
Yeah. And I think Mouse making a really good decision to just jump through that smoke. A lot of people, you know, versus that eco say, oh, we'll just wait it out, you know, we'll play time. Why not? But Mouse had a very hard read on Conquest and decided to impose their will on them.
All right, they go for it.
Oh,
they buy to win.
Playing for the win. Playing for the win. We've got a 5-7 on Stan, CZ on Daps, 2 pharmacists, Naf, the only one with a respectable rifle.
Naf going for the M4A4.
What's super ironic about this, and here we have that forward aggressive apps control. I mean, this is something you do on a force-up.
And Dennis starting at Rush gets the trade, but Nico taking down Rush as well. So man advantage to Mousesports. Shazam going through the smoke, beautifully done. Finds 2 and drops the bomb, picks up the op 2, the weapon that he's known for. What a play from Shazam. And he hits the shot onto Gabi. So now just Nico over here at Porch. Stan still around. Sees him through the smoke. Nico gets that one. He's down to 30 HP. He's got a 2K. He'll have to get 2 more if he wants to win it. And you can see the bomb in a very...
I'd just like to point out this is a 1v3. Doesn't say anything about 1v3s.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about Nico always winning 1v3s. It's just the 1v2s.
And yeah, he took about 70 damage there from Stan, so it's going to make it that much harder. I mean, he has a smoke and a flash. He's almost certainly going to try to go for this. Even every kill he gets will mean that Conquest will be on another Famas or just straight up 5-7 next round. So
I'll see if this flash grabs Shazam. Not enough. He was hardly blind from
Shazam
that.
with a 4K on the eco, or not the eco, the force up.
Yeah, the force
buy. He did have the Famas, but that's what we saw from Chris J, right? Pushing through that mid smoke, which seems like the most dangerous thing to do. 4K. Sounds like, and that three round differential here, they stole back the economy. They put themselves back in this. Conquest played apps. The apps control didn't work out, but they went for it. They got a trade. They got information. They knew Mouse were going to go there, and you know, they did have a cleanup crew on that round, but that gives them another chance to learn from themselves.
All right, and Shazam takes that shot, knows he shouldn't repeat that, so he smartly backs off. He had just seen the arm and the new, you know, those newer animations of the op coming out, took the shot, so it kind of got baited by that. Chris J, maybe just a little lucky that the shot didn't connect, or at least, you know, bring him down pretty low. So he's still on 100 HP. Mousesports opening up, trying to get that banana control. It's early into the round, so you can't really say where they're going yet, and it's Nico lurking over and watching their flanks from alternate.
No, if Chris J is going to lead with his op, Daps cannot peek the spools. That would be a death sentence from him. I mean, he might try to do it.
It seems like they're setting up the flash play. They'll hear those footsteps, the flash will come out, and then Dennis can peek in, and hopefully they will be blind. There's the pop flash. It gets 3 of them. Incendiary is there. Stan gets the one himself from Oranges.
And actually really like that.
Daps, oh, he was down there in trash. He gets taken out by Chris J's op. Stan still hiding out. The rotation from Shazam is coming over, but Stan has fallen. 4-on-3, Mousesports have taken over the B site. Bomb going down now. Knowing there are a few in the back, at least, based on Shazam seeing those flashes, but so many smokes down on the ground. No, they're all from CT side on the retake. Conquest smartly back off.
No, the only thing Stan was considering doing was not trying to get another kill. He wanted to stay alive, excuse me, for the rotates. And when he got smoked out, he threw that Molotov, got that first kill, and then got smoked out. He had no other play, but he had to move because, you saw him about to get spammed. I mean, there's no way that you wouldn't try to spam that smoke, and so maybe he shouldn't have been there. But I think on that round, the issue mainly was they were 2-3 again, passive, full buy, and they played too static, and that leaves Mouse with match point and very little hope for Conquest. I mean, Conquest have to prove themselves once again. What the thing is, though, if we see this pattern where they don't have a lot of money and they do this aggressive control, and we see that this is what they should actually be doing when they have a full buy-up, then that might even be a bad sign unless they finally learn from it. And I don't know what they'll decide to do in this moment, but Shazam does have an op to go up against the keen look of Chris J.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to peek middle again. Shazam's giving it up, though. He's going to go into alternate, and a player on that second mid balcony. Bring it down Shazam real low. Naf, however, finding Chris J. So 1 op taken out of this round. And Conquest with the man advantage. They've gone back to the more or less passive setup. Still under the porch here is Rush. But the bomb we can see gearing up for a banana head. Actually, the bomb's over in banana all by itself right now. And here comes the help in Nico and Nex. Looking to back up Gob B. Who will pop flash himself in through this smoke. Oh, completely blind. Maybe not completely, but still Daps will go down. Stanislaw finds that kill with the 5-7. Now looking over that headshot ledge. He can't spam that second Oranges. But as he is forced to peek out, Nico takes him. Next brings down Shazam. It's all on Rush right now with just this FAMAS. And wow, they've both gone into construction right now. One hiding in garden, and it's going to be Dennis that most likely. Oh, or not. Nico peeks and finds it, but Dennis was right there on the flank. There was no way they were going to lose out. Mousesports taking out Inferno. They win it 16-11, one of Conquest's best maps. But I wonder if there was an effect here, right? Conquest, they pick this map. They start on the T side, which is going to be rough, right? You don't expect the rounds to come out right away. That T side initially silences the crowd a little bit. Conquest not quite getting the same vocal support right away as they did last night against Dignitas. Maybe not affecting Conquest, but certainly Mousesports. I don't think they're being scared by the crowd.
No, I mean, they're going to be ever confident on this map, especially, and just you could see it in their T sides that they just knew what they were doing later into the half. Conquest staged quite a huge comeback, but again, those early rounds are easier to come by than the rounds later in the half, exactly. Right? It's much easier to get the rounds in a row that result in 2-for-1s than to get a series of rifle rounds in the middle of a half. And it seemed like Mousesports had all the confidence on their side, and they really knew how to work that T side in a way that Conquest weren't able to handle. On their force-ups, Conquest looked like they were playing CS perfectly in response to the way Mousesports were doing it. Aggressive, going for map control, and once it was given to them, they knew what to do with it. And that was the biggest problem. Continuing to play static, maybe just receding into a little bit of complacency, I guess.
Yeah,
perhaps. Call it. And, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see what Scoots and the boys have to say about it. We're going down to the desk. We'll see you for map 2. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen. Again, that was Conquest map choice. Yep. And again, as they said upstairs, basically Mousesports started rocking and rolling right out of the gate. Yep. Really took kind of the crowd out of it, and certainly put Conquest on their heels.
Yeah, I mean, look, so Mousesports, got to 12-4 or whatever it was. I think they took both pistols. Looking Really, really in control. They probably should have ran away with it and made it a cricket score. But this is the thing about Conquest. They do not go to bed easily. They always seem to find a way to battle back. Now, instrumental to that on this map, I thought, was Naf. Again, we've been talking about how he was putting in this mature performance, how he was being well-rounded. He was making some very important kills, some nice clutches. It was just, again, a wonderful sort of comeback performance. And you thought maybe they can force an overtime here. Didn't really work out that way. Meanwhile, it's exactly what we said was going to happen over on Mousesports, with the exception of Nex, actually, who didn't really show up, but they didn't really need him. Nico, though, had some ridiculous moments again. This guy is just so good. Deagle, this guy is on point right now. People need to really sit up and pay attention to him. But Mousesports, this is a weaker map for them. And they think about it, this could have easily been like a 16-6 map. And the 11 scoreline is a testament to Conquest's determination more than anything else.
In the summer, when this Mouse team really got rolling and they had all these top fours, and at this tournament, the last season, they were top four as well, you looked at Nex and you were like, this guy's on the road to becoming a superstar. He's a very good player. This isn't Nex's team right now. This is Nico's team right now. Nico's playing out of his mind. On the stats there, he had 122 ADR over the whole match. And this wasn't a match that was 16-3. This was a lengthy match in general for a match that wasn't that close overall. Meanwhile, Nex had 10 kills, and his team's won a comfortable game here. So you can see he's still trying to find his place within this team, within the non-German calling setup. It's not quite there yet, but Nico is rolling, and he's been rolling since the major, and it's working really well for him. Over on the Conquest side, they had some decent rounds. I mean, they actually won that nice force up there to extend the game a bit, but they were never really in the match because they were so far behind the first half. It's supposed to be their map. This is supposed to be the one where it's going to be really tough for the opponent, and it was a little bit too easy, I thought.
Yeah, and we actually have our BenQ play of the match, or the map so far, is going to be the Gabi 16th round pistol.
Yeah, I mean, so Gabi obviously doesn't get a lot of credit for you know, what he's capable of doing, but compared to where he was, I don't know, let's say like 4 or 5 months ago, this guy is, you know, really added the ability to sort of, you know, get some kills, add a little bit of firepower to his game. So really impressive from him. You can see with the silenced USP, gets that one headshot. Okay, so now he's in a 1v2. Can he still do it? Another headshot there, and then there's the third headshot. That's just really crisp, nice aim from a veteran 1.6 player. You can see his reaction. And it's wonderful. When Gabi's got a smile on his face, the team's always doing well.
Yeah, and you know, he kind of did his own, like, all right, crowd, what do you got now? Like, beat that now. At the point you alluded to, Conquest Forces win 6 straight.
Yeah.
So if that plays more in a status quo pistol in the next couple rounds, this is over much quicker.
Yeah. I mean, you saw, though, Conquest, because they were so far behind, they were a little desperate at times. Like, they won the force-up just before the end here, but if you stop and you look at that on paper, that's a very questionable force-up. You're on CT side of Inferno. You have a couple of pistols mixed in there, and you've got full armor, fullness. You go for everything. And what's funny, the casters always say, there, you're playing for the win. What they mean is to win the map in regulation. Yeah. I always make a joke and say, you're not really playing to win there. The way you play for a win is you save, get a proper buy, get to overtime, and then you win the game. That's the way you win a game. Yeah. You know, you're just taking a massive gamble. Like, I don't want to lose the game after I get to overtime. So I think that in general, you saw this wasn't the Conquest of yesterday. There wasn't the guy who were like pulling up miraculous, great narrative storylines where they're somehow overcoming challenges and stuff. Yeah. They look a little bit deflated, I gotta say.
And obviously
Shazam wasn't winning all those crazy rounds.
And that's the thing. There wasn't that clutch magic there from yesterday. And things get worse now because, okay, that's your map. I mean, forget about the ins and outs of it. You're now going into uncharted territory.
Sure.
Mousesports are very good on overpass, and you know.
And we're going to definitely talk about that in detail. But again, and I think what we also saw was kind of cool, like everyone who's not a Conquest fan in the building, they've split. And now, like, Mousesports has a hometown crowd here, too. They obviously didn't travel overseas.
Yeah,
so the audience has split themselves, so everyo's getting cheers.
Like I said yesterday, the crowd,
audience? Yeah.
the crowd, they're not listening.
They're not listening to us.
The Conquest guys have been cheering on. You know, the fans have been cheering on both sets of teams.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Just, one's been really loud. It's not even necessarily a divide. I think everybody can respect just how good a Mousesports team are. You know, these guys are super pumped to be seeing elite level teams in Columbus, Ohio. So I think you know, any idea of like they've been really biased or like partisan, it's
not today, for sure.
Just not true.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
All right, gentlemen, we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to dive into Overpass, figure out if Conquest has a way to win this or if it's going to end up being a 2-0. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.